Where did the road go? Off-road edition. This is an off-road edition of Where Did the Road Go with Red Pill Junkie and Octavian Graves. Hey, guys.
Hey, how are you?
And I wanted to talk about this video that Louis Elizondo just put up. Someone shared it on Reddit, and I watched it. It's like a minute and a half long, and it's ridiculous. And you just watched it, Red Pill, so give us your thoughts.
Okay, my thoughts is like... Sorry. It is god awful. It is pathetic. It is. First of all, it sounds like a political ad. I was waiting to see where, by the end of the video, I will see titles with a website so I can, donate to his campaign or something, or join his campaign because he's running for something. I mean, he's been toying and teasing his fan base about running for Congress or running for something for quite a while now. And the tone, and this is from someone who is not even American, but even a non-American can instantly detect the type of tone, the music, the cadence, the style, the imagery that is specifically designed for a political campaign. And this had all the earmarks of a political campaign, except for the fact that instead of talking about, the budget, instead of talking about, improving lives for the Americans, instead of showing images of the White House or showing images of American families struggling, maybe in the supermarket or whatever, hospitals, the kind of stuff that you see in regular political campaigns, we now see images, the typical image of the TikTok video that we've seen for 10,000 times already. I'm so sick of that video right now. We also see images of the pyramids. So obviously, right. He's going with the ancient alien stuff, obviously, because that's the kind of stuff that will get the type of fan base that he's cultivating. And saying things that I have heard him say for quite a while, like, imagine that everything we've been told about who we are or placing it is a lie or is not entirely accurate. Yeah, no shit, Elizondo. I mean, duh. Like, you just figured this out, in the last 5-10 years? Good for you. But I don't know. What I don't understand is why people are still keep giving him the time of day. You know, I mean, why is he still? And every time there's something going on with regards to UFOs, he's always quick to take the credit for it.
Of course,
like the United States takes down a couple of balloons, maybe some Chinese, maybe some just regular things that were floating away, and he's like, yeah, good job, guys, nice to see that finally they're paying attention to what I was being saying. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and those balloons turned out to be nothing unusual.
Exactly. You just blew up someone's middle school science project. We're just going to get an A, but now Uncle Sam's saying, no, not on my watch.
Well, it's like Tom DeLonge on Joe Rogan saying that everything on YouTube is real. You're everything like,
YouTube, yeah.
What?
And Eric Weinstein, I don't know if you guys saw that 4-hour interview.
I started it and got so bored. I couldn't get past the 10-minute mark.
It was annoying, but
I'm not even sure who he is.
Eric Weinstein?
He's one of Joe Rogan's, he's part of that whole circle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's the one who allegedly coined the term of the intellectual dark web. So it's in that kind of scene with your Jordan Petersons and your people who are against what they say is woke culture, which seems to be the worst thing since the medieval plagues or something. But apparently this guy, he seems to be investigating stuff about UFOs, and because of who he is and his position, he says he's been approached by people in the know, they wanted to show him something, and apparently they never did. but he kind of is convinced that there's something going on. And the one thing that was interesting to me about that interview is that he posited to Joe that maybe the United States is in a campaign to fake UFO activity, and the TikTok videos could be part of that. So that's interesting because this is something that people like us have also been wondering.
Yep.
Joe said, okay, do you think that the United States is using like technology far more advanced than we believe we have? And Eric Weinstein, surprisingly enough, said no, that probably this is something that you can fake with pretty conventional technology, like using lasers, that you can create fake targets in rather screens and stuff.
Greg Little was saying they have the technology to create balls of plasma that look just like the Tic Tac video.
Yes, you use very powerful lasers in order to very rapidly hit a very localized portion of the atmosphere that will, create a plasma type emission. That, as far as I can understand, is very erratic. But maybe these guys have ways to control it. I don't know. But anyway, I'm talking about Eric Weinstein because I found that at least far more interesting than this piece of crap video that I just saw. Because
I'll post a link to this video, but the poster says, "This really makes you think. Looking at his eyes as he talks, he has seen some things that disturbed him. He knows." And he says literally nothing in this video. It's a lot of double talk and like lead-ons. It's like, here's the carrot, come on, without saying one single thing of substance, which, like a political ad.
And that's what he's been saying, and the type of the strategy he's been employing for the last 5 years, 6 years, never says anything concrete. Never. He's always alluding to the fact that he's been privy to some horrible information that will make any one of us pull our hairs out,
Well, what I was asking was, before we started, was there used to be, and I'm wondering if there still is, a divide between people who are into this stuff as a hobby and as a passion, like all of us are, and then just regular citizens who don't know any better and buy whatever they see on TV. Does that divide still exist, or is it weakening, or is it strengthening? Are there still people who are just completely ignorant to this stuff, or is there less of that? And so the government, different powers that be are scrambling to find new propaganda, where the citizens are kind of quote unquote waking up.
You have people who are never going to believe in this stuff, and then you have the more passive people who watch Ancient Aliens, or they have a vague interest in it, but they're totally fine with the idea that it's just aliens. They're not researching it. They're not digging through books by Jeffrey Kripal and stuff like that. They're just watching some documentaries by Stephen Greer and again, Ancient Aliens is one of the, most popular shows out there with this stuff. So that seems to be the audience he's pitching to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. Who is he talking to with this video, with this propaganda? Because you're right. In 2017, everybody had a double take with that New York Times article, and they were like, huh? The United States is acknowledging that there are really UFOs out there and they don't know what they are? Huh. And everybody for a minute, maybe a minute and a half, were like, oh, what do you know? Aliens are real. Cool. But then, the pandemic hit, the elections, the insurrection in the Capitol, important stuff hit, and people remember that they had to pay their mortgages. And I don't know, maybe they keep hearing about this stuff here and there occasionally, but I don't see normies paying much attention to it. Occasionally, I mean, even my own family sometimes they say, "Oh, did you see that they shut down a UFO?" And look, there's this video. Apparently, they are carrying the UFO on hidden under a tarmac in this trailer. Look, it looks like a saucer, right? Like, Jesus, that video is fake. What are you talking about? They shot down a balloon. Do you think you need a trailer to transport a balloon? You just need a box.
Yeah. There's one of the comments under the on the Reddit post says, "Bro, tell us what WTF is going on, or STFU. The hypocrisy of this woe is us performance for not knowing what's going on while simultaneously not telling us what he knows gives mega BS vibes."
Yeah, I mean, I follow John Greenwald Jr., the guy who runs the Black Bolt, and he's been. He's not like he's attacking specifically Elizondo, but he's critical, as we all are, of all this story of how ATIP came to be, OSAP came to be, his role under that. What did they know? What were his responsibilities? Who leaked the videos to the press? When did he go and meet Mellon and Kane and Tom DeLonge, all that? And one of the latest things that Greenwald released on his site is that in the final episode of the first season of their TV series, I think it was Unexplained. I don't remember the name. I don't remember the name, but something generic. But they had this like recorded interview with what they said were the people running the AT program after Elizondo resigned in October of 2017, like to try to show that the United States was continuing with his work and that he was still, talking to these people within the Pentagon. But then one of those guys whose name is still undisclosed, he said that story is total BS, that they didn't even know they were being recorded, that he wasn't part of ATIP. He was apparently there to try to see if he could be part of some kind of like program, and those other people who were shown in the video in that recording, they weren't also running ATIP, but they were trying to see if they could revive the program if they managed to get enough funding. So all the story was a total fabrication by Elizondo, who obviously now is denying that.
That's about right.
Yeah. So it's very problematic, Elizondo's role in all of this. It's still very questionable, and I don't really know what's going on. I try not to pay much attention to him, to be honest.
I watched it because it was short and it popped up in my Reddit feed, and I'm like, oh, let me watch this. And then I honestly was just laughing and rolling my eyes as he just gave this whole emotional speech that says absolutely nothing. And then, and it comes off like a campaign ad or like a con man would, Yeah,
definitely. I mean, all the things, all the elements that are so, to me, they are kind of tacky. As a non-American, to see all these elements that are screaming patriotism, like American flag behind him with that cap. I couldn't really read what it said, but it obviously was something about being ready, for the mission. Something is obviously a military cap. There have been even times where I have seen him, putting an assault weapon behind him, propped to the wall. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, what are you saying here? Why are you doing this? He's not doing it anymore, thank God. But I don't know. The whole thing smells. Yeah.
I can say that I really, really hate the position that we need, that the alien conversation is one of defense. Yeah. That we need to be like defending ourselves from it. Like, it's just so narcissistic.
Well, that and as if we could, if a race could get here from another part of the galaxy, I'm guessing they have better weapons too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I recently reread Leslie King's book, UFOs. The subtitle always escapes me. Generals, pilots, and other things, and politicians speak up, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's a really good book. I recommend it to anyone who haven't read it yet. Some of the chapters were actually written in first person by actual witnesses, and one of those was the now retired general who was at the time, I think he was a lieutenant or a commander. The Iranian pilot that in 1976 was ordered to go and to intercept this bright UFO that was flying over Tehran, the capital of Iran. And it's a very interesting chapter in UFO history because, as he puts it, they were totally overrun and totally outmaneuvered by this object. And even when he tried at one point to lock down on with his armament to try to shoot the thing, everything went haywire within his cockpit, and also the object seemed to have expelled or fired what they first thought was some kind of missile. Mm-hmm. It was a glowing orb or something that was flying straight at them, but then like it diverted. It never really reached and changed direction. But anyway, after they returned and they were debriefed by their superiors, one of them, I guess, one of the top generals in the Iranian Air Force, he point blank asked him, "What do you think they were? Do you think they were the Americans, the Israelis?" And he said, "Sir, this is, whoever this is way above us, because if some nation in this world had that technology, they will be the masters of the earth."
Right. At least in our culture, they will.
Yes.
So yeah, that's very good points. I also, when you talk about people who aren't into this stuff, I always love when someone will say, "Do you believe in UFOs?"
Oh yeah,
and it's like, I don't know. Do you believe in the color red? Because both of these things exist. Now, if you're asking me if I believe that there are extraterrestrials, then we're onto a different question entirely. And even that
they aren't ready to have.
Yeah, or even that with, do you believe there's extraterrestrials? Well, probably, yeah. It doesn't mean they're here.
That reminded me of that fabulous scene of one of my favorite movies, Ghostbusters. The secretary asking the guy in the job interview, "Do you believe in UFO, the transmigration of the soul, Atlantis, the Loch Ness monster, reincarnation, and the pyramids being built by aliens?" And the guy said, "If there's a paycheck, I'll believe anything." And I kind of feel like that's the position of many of the people now in the scene. Like, they just are trying to say whatever they think people want to hear from them. Like, at first, Elizondo wasn't really comfortable talking about things like Roswell, that kind of stuff. He wanted to stick to the TikTok and the ATIP, and I respected that at the time. But then he began to talk more and more and give all these impressions. Oh yeah, the aliens, Atlantis, whatever. And that began to really rub me the wrong way, especially because, according to his own story, he didn't really know anything about UFOs prior to him being hired for his position at ATIP. He was point blank asked, "Do you think or do you believe in UFOs?" And he said, "Well, I try not to think about that because I'm, I'm busy doing real stuff, like fighting the bad guys." "Okay, you're hired." So he was, according to him, a total noob, totally inexperienced in these matters. And now everybody is asking him in any interview, about the secrets of the universe.
Yeah.
How could he know the secrets of the universe? I mean, if he was totally ignorant about even the most basic aspects of UFO lore prior to him being enrolled in all the stuff.
Yeah. And even his history with this stuff is open to question, because it seems like there was no definitive proof that he did half the stuff he said he did.
Yeah. Or that he was even, the guy who he claims he was. I mean, the only one who was, every time that everyone is skeptical about his position within this secret UFO program, all his fans say, "Oh, well, Senator Reid, he's always defended him." Well, Senator Reid was, legislative. He was in the Senate. He was a politician. He wasn't a member of the Pentagon. I want to hear from someone within the Pentagon actually going and saying, "Yeah, this guy is who he says he is, and he actually had an official role that is part of a memo, that is part of, some kind of chart." But no, it seems that everybody was hush-hush, and it seems to be some kind of hobby secret program that some politicians using pork barrel money created, and people who have been interested in UFOs for years and years and years, the moment they smelled the honey, they started to, come close to that and try to first get a bit of that honey, get a bit of that government money to write, all these very speculative scientific papers, also to try once again to see if they could learn a little bit more about UFOs on the side.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We've been at this for 5 years, you guys, and I'm exhausted.
Well, yeah, because nothing has ever really come out. We've gotten a few not impressive videos, and a lot of promises. Again, very much like politics.
Yeah, Eric Weinstein, like he said in Joe Rogan, that they assured him, I don't know who did, but they assured him that they have close-up footage of UFOs that leaves no question that they are real and they are non-man-made.
But at the same time, with our technology and CGI and everything else, is there such a thing as footage that's so convincing?
That is a very good question.
So, I mean, I would say no. At this point, I mean, you look at the fairy photos that were taken back in the early 1900s, and they just look like little cutouts on a picture and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, and people were like, "Oh my God, this looks so real," but no one would fall for that nowadays,
right?
And it's nowadays though, our tech is so good that you can make stuff look just 100% real.
I was going to say, like, if you follow anything with like Midjourney or the AI stuff, people are trying to fake stuff with using that all the time. And there are many, many people who fall for it.
Oh yeah.
Especially when people start making like fake movie posters and fake movie images and things like that. People are like, oh man, when's this coming out? Where can I find this? Like people are going to still fall for a lot of stuff just because they see it online.
Right.
Faking UFOs is so easy when compared to trying to fake other stuff. Like I've been waiting to see if someone uses CGI in order to 100% fake a Bigfoot photo, a Bigfoot video that is convincing.
Yeah, like an up close type of thing.
Yeah, something that says, oh my God, that's actually some kind of like animal or creature. Walking on the woods, but so far, no one has taken that challenge.
I mean, you've seen is it the 4th of July footage or the New Year's Day footage? It's like a female Bigfoot carrying her baby running through the woods.
Oh, I did see that briefly.
I may have seen that, but
it's famous. And if you watch it, it's either 100% real or it's really good CGI because it doesn't look natural. It's the way it moves. It's the movement. It's like the watery movement of it. It feels very CGI, or it's exactly what all these witnesses are talking about. It's one or the other. So I've always had a hard time with that one.
I just looked up 4th of July female Bigfoot and got all kinds of merchandise of Bigfoot with the American flag.
Oh, America.
I'm not finding that video though.
Oh, maybe it's the Independence Day. I don't know. It's a holiday.
Okay, mother. Yeah, here it is. Mother Bigfoot with baby. Off finding Bigfoot.
Oh, I didn't see it on there. It's
videos of mother Bigfoot with baby. Okay.
Watch Bigfoot spotted Yellowstone. Okay, I saw the Yellowstone one before.
It's not the one on the hill. It's like it's much more close up, and the guy's kind of like he's angling down.
I turned down sounds, but the commercials don't care that you've turned down the sound.
Right.
That Bigfoot looks kind of like patchy, with the coat.
Yeah.
But is it a whole video? Because right now I'm seeing this scene from Finding Bigfoot, and I'm seeing these guys talking to an older gentleman.
Yeah, I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it in a while.
I just saw it on a Facebook page like a month ago, but I can't remember what the actual title of it is.
It's I mean, there's so much, Bigfoot sighting, and so much of it's just not anything definitive. And again, it's so easy to fake.
I like to tag Timothy on with like in Bigfoot videos I see on Instagram just because of how bad they are. And it annoys the hell out of them. It's great.
All right. Well, that seems like a good place to stop this off-road edition of the show. Either of you have anything else you want to add?
I'm good.
Stop listening to Lou Elizondo, por favor.
Unless you want a good laugh.
Yeah.
You have been listening to Where Did the Road Go? This show is made possible in part from our Patreons, and we thank you and everyone listening for helping us continue this exploration of the strange. You can always find everything Where Did the Road Go related at www.wheredidtheroadgo.com. And thank you so much for your support.